What's up, everybody? Belmont here, and today I'm joined by my very good friend Tom Zilla. Say hello, Tom.
Hello, Tom.
And today we are going to discuss a little bit about the current state of Resident Evil, especially after watching two very good animated movies. So hit the subscribe button, and if you enjoyed this video, then make sure to click the join button so you can help us becoming a member. All those things, and yeah, let's get right to it. So, okay, here we have footage, something I recorded just so you have something to watch while we discuss. And, okay, T, after the two movies we watched, what were they? They were Vendetta
Damnation.
and Damnation. Okay. So, I really thought those movies were really good. And once I watched them, it made me think. It's been such a long time ever since we got a proper Resident Evil. Because I'm sorry to all of you, but in my opinion, my channel, my opinion, I couldn't care less about Resident Evil 7 or 8 lore wise. They introduce, okay, Chris Redfield is kind of there, and in 7 he barely shows up. In 8 he's just shoehorned. He says some very dumb shit. His dialogue lines are not very good. And after watching those movies, it made me crave for more authentic Resident Evil, because I don't really think there's a whole lot of people out there who could really, really say, even if they enjoyed the game, oh, I love Ethan Winters. What do you say about that, team?
Oh, yeah, I completely agree. The movies had a much stronger storyline and could have been adapted into a game easily instead of what we got. So, I mean, the remakes are nice, they look good, but it's basically the same story again. Like, I really enjoyed playing through the Resident Evil 4 remake. I mean, it was a good time, but did we really need it? Did we?
What do you say? Did we really need them?
Yeah, did we really need the remakes? They're nice, they play good, but it's the same story again, and like you said, in the movies, it makes you crave more. Those stories could have been adapted into games easily, and
yeah, absolutely. I keep on thinking they could have just taken the crew who worked on the stories of those games, on those animated films, and say, hey, write us something so we can adapt into a video game format, because it needs to last longer. And the one we watched yesterday, it was Vendetta,
no,
right?
that was
It was
Damnation.
Leon. Oh, Damnation. Okay. And it was such a rich storyline. If I'm not mistaken, it picks up after RE6.
I believe so.
And if it's not after, it's before. It's very close by in terms of
Yeah, it's in that
timeline.
timeline somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. And when I watched that, I thought, hey, I wanted to see more of that Leon, but playing. You know,
Right.
so much that as we were watching, I say, hey, man, watching this is cooler than playing modern Resident Evil titles, because it really made me feel in the franchise.
Yeah, the only Resident Evil I really think they should have remade is something that wasn't great to begin with. Remake it and make it better, like the Game Boy Color Resident Evil. That needs a remake. Resident Evil 4 does not need a remake. We need new content.
Exactly. I mean, am I gonna say, "Oh, Resident Evil 4 remake sucked"? No, it's beautiful. It looks amazing. You know, but at the same time, I keep thinking, about this remake culture. They remade 2, 3, which I happen to love, but strictly because of gameplay reasons. I agree with every single criticism that has been made about it. I'm one of the people who criticize it, but RE4K, it's a great nostalgia factor, and they improved Ashley. They changed so many things around. So sure, it's nice to revisit, to see it again. But at the same time, whenever I go back to the old game, I think, well, this was fine too.
Yeah,
It was
the original is still a beautiful game, and I could go back and play it and be just as happy as playing the remake. The remake, like you said, yeah, it was beautiful. It's a good game, but it's not really original, and we need more original Resident Evil content.
exactly, and there you saw me taking an arrow to the face, and but I can understand Resident Evil 2 and 3 being remade because they were done in a very different manner. We still had those tank controls, fixed camera angles. So, okay, if you want to bring them over to the new generation so more people can enjoy it, fine. Awesome. I agree with it. Good results, mostly. But, you know, as for 4, I don't really see the need. And now we had talks about maybe remaking Resident Evil 5, which, would be even stupider in the sense that, the original Resident Evil 5 is already a very beautiful game. The only reason I can see for a remake is, they're going to change things around in the story. But the way I see it, this sounds kind of cheap,
Yeah,
manipulative, you know, playing around with people's nostalgia, and it tells me something about the current state in which Capcom is in. Uh, the way I see it, they really don't know where to take the franchise, so they keep on remaking things.
yeah, just oh, I like that game. I'll get the remake. I'll shell out 60, 70, 80 bucks.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you're free to do whatever the hell you want with your money. It's your money. But I'd much rather spend this money on a new adventure by Claire Redfield, or a new adventure by Leon, new adventure by Jill, Chris, Rebecca. There's just so many good characters for Capcom to work with.
Right. Even if they were to do like not something so much as new as in later in the story, something that's in between games, something like side missions or even prequels. And I know a lot of people don't like that word anymore, but something that happened beforehand, but new content, a different story.
Exactly. Go back and show us more about Albert. Show us something between, I don't know, RE1 and 2, 2 and 3, 3 and 4. Resident Evil has such a rich lore that I really think that something better could easily be done. They can take a little bit of lore and expand it to something really good, something really cool.
Well, hopefully somebody from Capcom watches our little podcast and takes
Yeah.
note.
The same thing happened to Metal Gear. I Have you played Metal Gear T?
Not too much of it. I know you hate me for it, but
But we have Metal Gear 1. Let's talk about the Solid saga, okay? Metal Gear Solid 1, Metal Gear Solid 2, and then Metal Gear Solid 3 takes us back to the 60s, where we get to experience Big Boss's story. Then we had Portable Ops, which was shoehorned into being canon because, if I remember correctly, Kojima just wanted to make a multiplayer game. That's why the story on it isn't so good. And then we had Portable Ops Plus, but that was the real multiplayer game. Then we had Peace Walker, which was a stellar game. And then we had The Phantom Pain. And those were all prequels. Those were all prequels. And for the most part, I'd say they worked out really well. So, yeah. Yeah. Maybe Resident Evil isn't the type of game where we'd get 1 hour long cutscenes like Kojima likes delivering them to us, which I personally enjoy. But they could have done something better. Maybe a game. Hey, like we're seeing on screen, maybe a game about Ada. She's like Batman. We know very little about her. She just shows up, kicks ass, and we get to see some communications, very secretive, very mysterious. Why not bring us a game about her, where we get to see, of course, Leon, because the Leon and Ada are always going to be together in games, and maybe show something of Chris, Rebecca, Jill. There's just so many different ways they can put this together.
Yeah, they definitely could be adding on to the universe instead of reliving it. Which reliving things is good, but a
Yeah,
lot of us fans can just pop in our disc of Resident Evil 4 in the PlayStation, or they have it on Steam. You could get the original version still. Like if it was one of those games where it's just kind of really hard to play, oh, a modern remake, everybody can play. Make it accessible. That's great, but a
exactly.
lot of the fans already had access to the game.
Yeah, just like in Final Fantasy VII Remake, it went from a turn-based RPG to an action game, and I understand that. We want to bring it to modern times so more people can enjoy it because JRPG isn't what it used to be. Back in the mid '90s to I'd say mid 2000s. Okay, it works. Okay, fine. T, are you there? Are you
Oh
sleeping?
no, I'm watching the game. It's that enjoyable. It
Yeah,
makes me
and
wish I
now
was playing it right now.
exactly. And there's also that factor that Capcom decided to release. I think they either decided or are going to come out and say it. The assignment Ada and Separate Ways, that wasn't in the original remake, was it?
No.
So okay, hey, fans are hoping for this to be released in DLC. Why wasn't it released with the original game, motherfucker?
They added on the mercenaries that didn't come when it first came out. So hopefully they just add it as okay. Here's more of the game instead of charging you, because if I remember correctly, they just gave you mercenaries when they got done developing it. There is one version of Resident Evil 4 that was remade that I can say it was a good idea to do it, and that is the VR version. It was the same game, but from a different perspective, and it gave you know, controls for the VR, so you could actually load the gun, and it, that was worthwhile. That was a fun experience.
Yeah, it was very different, right? I mean, it was the same game, but a totally different experience.
Right. So something like that, I can say, okay, yeah, that's a worthwhile thing to do, but they could have still made a brand new game in that manner also, and probably sold just as many VR headsets that way.
I'm not gonna say just as many, and I don't really think that making an exclusive Resident Evil 4 VR would be commercially viable. But certainly give us a new adventure from the characters we know and actually give a shit about. Because if you tell me you cried about Ethan Winters, then I'm gonna second guess that.
Right.
I'm not sure I'm gonna buy it, but yeah, I think they did that with RE8, didn't they? Give us a VR version of the game.
I'm not sure.
I don't
I'm
know.
not sure. Wouldn't surprise me though.
Yeah, but even so, the fact that we're not sure about things shows that even though RE7 and 8 have sold well, there are quite a number of fans who are actually not very pleased with the way Resident Evil is going
Right.
anymore.
Yeah, that's
I'm not looking forward to 9.
they might surprise us, but I'm not gonna bet my last dollar on that.
Yeah, we had 7, which was entertaining in a way, had all those characters, and I really think that was odd because I would have enjoyed that game a lot more if Mia Winters had been the leading character because she was interesting.
Yeah,
Did you beat it?
no, sir, I did not.
Well, basically, spoiler alert. Mia Winters is Ethan Winters' wife, and as the game progresses, you find out that she was directly involved with the BOW that began fucking everything up. That destroyed Jack's family. You get to play as her, and the research ship. You get to see some really nice flashbacks. Her inside the corporation. She had a partner over there, and things go to shit. That would have been very interesting to see. But as for Ethan, he's like, okay, I'm just looking for my wife because of reasons.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan of the newer games, and I'm a huge Resident Evil fan, so that speaks volumes right there. I I didn't care enough about these characters or the situations they were in.
Yeah, and just so we can preemptively answer to the Twitter people out there, the Reddit people out there. It's not that we don't like new stuff. We're not against new characters. The problem is the new stuff that was presented to us just really wasn't that interesting.
No,
I'm not remembering Ethan Winters. He's not a character. Oh, what's your favorite Resident Evil character? Oh, Ethan Winters. No. Did he have to be a favorite character? No. But it's just too weak. And like I said, the insertions they made, the inserts they make of Chris are just like, okay, there's a Resident Evil character there. At least that's my point of view, my opinion. So no, we're not against new things. We're not against new characters, new stories, but it just didn't do it for me. Didn't do it for us. And again, after watching those movies, I've seen so many different ways in which Capcom could have gone with RE7 and RE8, even if they still made it into first person. Even if they still made it into first person. There were many different ways that, yeah, could have, I'd say, entertained both old and new fans alike. Because I understand that Capcom decided to go first person because at the time, first person horror games with all the streaming craze, they were wildly popular. So they decided to follow that trend. And I understand that. But still, you know,
it still could have been done much better.
Yeah, again, RE7 isn't a game I go back to. Unless I have to make a video about it, I have to say something about it, then okay, I'll play it again. But that's unlike every other Resident Evil game out there because I can just go back and play, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, which I actually enjoy. Then, Code Veronica, Revelations 1, Revelations 2. I could go back to those games any single day. Even Gun Survivor, the one on PlayStation 2.
Don't forget.
I could go back and
Don't forget Dead Aim on PS1.
I would have enjoyed, and I would have liked to forget that game. Thank you very much. But still, that aim at least that aim is fun. It's so bad, it's fun.
Right.
So, what would you like for a new RE game, T?
Well, just what we've been talking about. Take the characters that we actually give a damn about and put them in a new situation. And if you want to, make it more modern, make it, however you want, whatever mechanics you need, for quality of life, for everyone to enjoy, go ahead and do that. Just make it a better story. Make it with interesting characters. If you want to add new characters, add new ones, but don't just throw in our favorites for half a second to say, oh, Chris or Leon's in this game, and, oh, where? 2 hours in for about 3 seconds and then they're gone. You know,
Yeah, or like in RE8, they throw this part where you can play as Chris, which from a story standpoint kind of made sense. But hey, Chris is there. Remember Chris, guys? The last game in which he actually showed up decently. Not decently, but for a good amount of time was RE6, released 8,000 years ago. You know what I'm saying, T?
yeah. So yeah,
Yeah, and I also like for those games to be made. You know, um, you mentioned the mechanics thing. I don't really think they're gonna change things around too much if they make a new one. I really think they're gonna keep it in third person mode because that's what people, for the most part, enjoy about Resident Evil. Ever since RE4, that's what we've been getting. And, we had RE4, 5, 6, Rev 1, Rev 2, then all the three remakes. So that's like almost, I don't know, 10 games in third person. And they're selling really
oh
well,
yeah.
you know. So I don't know for what reason I decided to stand still over there. Oh, I'm moving again. And yeah, let us know in the comments your impressions about the current state of things. Again, we're not against the franchise moving forward, bringing us new things, as long as it's entertaining, as long as it makes us. We just heard Sonic about to
He's
pass out.
drowning.
Yeah. So no, like I said, we're not against new things. Just honor what you've done. Make sure it's interesting. And if all of those remakes are an indicator, DLC, who the fuck's gonna remember roads? Nobody. So yeah, got any last comments, see about this?
No, I think that just about covers it. I mean, we both want the same thing: a good new Resident Evil game.
Exactly. We want a new announcement about a Resident Evil title that makes us excited to play it. So now we're gonna play as Chris, and he's gonna be in this mission, or hey, Leon's gonna get more screen time because he's gonna be in that assignment, or hey, Gio's gonna go somewhere else by herself, the lone wolf that she is, and she's gonna have to tackle this, and that. We want this. It's so easy, and it also made me pissed off because again, as we were watching those movies, and we were gonna watch all of the animated films, and it made me think. It was all there, so many good ideas had already been written in those films. So why not adapt them into games, or make it so that it's a sequel from something that happened in one of those animated movies? It would have been so easy, right?
Yes.
So okay, everyone, that was our very first Belmontcast, and I was joined by my my immediate Tom Zilla from
Dragon Pixel Gaming.
Exactly. And if you want to know about retro stuff, the good stuff, going from classics like Mario Kart, Zelda, Smash Bros, and even seeing some really disturbing stuff like that Sega Genesis console review he made, then give him a follow. I'll make sure to put the link to his channel somewhere when I'm editing. And yeah, let us know your opinions about this. So this was Belmont speaking to you, joined by my friend Tom Zilla.
And we'll see you next time.
And we'll see you next time. Take care.